The F1 season 2012 is about to start. Let's have a look at this year's teams right before the first race in Melbourne. The comeback of the year. Kimi Räikkönen is back with the Lotus Formula 1 team, and what's more, looking impressive in testing.
I was pretty happy after the first test we did a few weeks ago, and it felt pretty normal already, so I think it will be okay.
Behind Kimi, Romain Grosjean, there in 2009, returns, the first of 3 Frenchmen in Formula 1. French is also spoken at Toro Rosso. With both drivers changed, alongside homegrown super talent Daniel Ricciardo is the youngest Formula 1 fledgling in the field, nicknamed Jeff.
J for Jean, E for Eric, and V for Vern, and that makes Jeff, and it's much easier, so everybody calls me like this.
At Marussia F1 team, it's a case of déjà vu. The old car is still going as they failed to pass the stipulated FIA crash test with the new one, meaning no testing, a repeat of the crash test, and the car's premiere in Melbourne. Thus, starting totally cold, Frenchman Charles Pic. His teammate, however, has got every reason to party in Australia. On race Sunday in Melbourne, Timo Glock will be 30 years young. On his hands-side wish list for this season, to stay healthy, pick up points and...
Dass mich der 30. Dem Sonntag...
For my 30th on race Sunday, not to upset my routine too much, as they do say that it's all downhill from 30. But I hope that for me that won't be the case and that I'll nevertheless have a good race. I'm looking forward to it, of course. Melbourne is one of my favorite races, and to celebrate my 30th birthday there is really nice.
30. Geburtstag zu feiern ist schon schön.
No longer involved, Rubens Barrichello. Instead, Williams puts his faith in a famous name, Bruno Senna. And yet another Formula 1 old hand is retiring, Jarno Trulli. That means, for the first time in 42 years, there's no Italian driver in Formula 1, but a Russian instead. Vitaly Petrov is Heikki Kovalainen's new teammate. The Force India team wants to become better this year. Further investment is planned in equipment and personnel. They count on Paul Di Resta and newcomer Nico Hülkenberg. Further progress is also the aim at Mercedes-AMG. And the new F1 W03, a lot of work has gone into the detail. Longer wheelbase, more compact, and the team seem to have learned from their mistakes. McLaren ready for the title. They hope that with their MP427 the drivers will be quicker in corners than the RB8. And this time McLaren is on schedule. Isn't that a happy omen? Ferrari, however, don't seem to be happy. The geometry at the front axle has changed decisively. Initial verdict from the drivers: the car was often lying badly and therefore also had poor traction. Nevertheless, they're confident. With 2 World Championships behind them, the work is different and simpler for Red Bull. This year's aim: Mission Hat-Trick possible.
Das Auto, das wir jetzt hier sehen, ist natürlich...
The car that we see here now is naturally based to a large degree on last year's car. However, there are some small but intricate differences. You may not see them all from outside. A lot are hidden and under the hood, and it's good that way. But there are certainly things that we've refined and tinkered with.
Gefeilt und getüftelt haben.
So things are getting hot in Melbourne, not least because there are 6 world champions in Formula 1 this year. No season without regulation changes. One of them can be seen at first sight: the nose, lowered from 650mm to 550. In the event of a side-on collision, the point of impact is below the cockpit opening. Rule change number 2. Blowing exhaust gases onto the diffuser is banned. The exhaust tailpipes have to exit on the side of the car's body. That prevents exhaust gases being used for aerodynamic purposes.
RB7, as I said, is designed around the exhaust. This year, knowing that exhaust position from last year will be taken away, we've had to go back and look at how we had developed the car through the last somewhere between 1 and 2 years with the side exit exhaust, and try and, if you like, make sure that routes that we'd taken that are only suitable for that exhaust position, we now have to re-evaluate.
The FIA has also refined the sporting regulations. A driver is now only allowed to move offline once to keep a chasing car at bay. Thereafter, he has to hold the line. Then safety car phases. From now on, the slower cars have to line up at the back. In the exact order they were placed prior to the safety car phase. 4 hours and not a second longer. That's the maximum race duration. An endless race such as Canada 2011 will be no longer possible. And last but not least, there will be an extra 3 days of testing for all teams at the start of May. Now to the hardest braking point on the Orbit Park circuit, which according to the Brembo engineers is ahead of Whitefoot Corner. The drivers reduce their speed by 195 km per hour. In doing so, they release 2,230 kilowatts of brake energy. They've got to withstand a mighty 5.47 G and simultaneously push with 144 kilograms down on the brake.